What is going on, ladies and gentlemen of the tribe, and welcome back to another Galaxy of Heroes video with me, your bald boy Scribe. How the devil are we doing? I hope we're fantastic. I know you are. More importantly, we have had data mined now the next set of feats for the upcoming Conquest. It doesn't start for another week and a little bit yet, but we've already got them down, and I've got some high-level ideas about how to tackle it. So if you are looking forward to getting Satele Shan and want to get your red box, I've got the starting steps for you. Let's go over it. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, so going into Sector 1, I'm hiding my face so that you can get a good idea of the teams I'm suggesting here. First of all, bonus turns. Gungans are the best for bonus turns because they are just kind of bugged when it comes to bonus turns. Take them up against anything that generates a whole lot of turn meter, and you'll be getting too much bonus turns. You'll get it done in like a battle if you go up against something like a Mon Mothma or Imperial Troopers. Anything like that will work. Failing that, Maul. Using Maul, his Seething Rage is a bonus turn every time he does it. Throw in Watt over here and you can get an immediate 100% turn meter on him thanks to the fact that he starts with Frenzy. Using Candrass then, so what you'll do is you'll go Watt, puts some sort of tech on somebody, Maul will then get a 100% turn meter, use his first special, that will trigger enough turn meter gains on your Candrass for Candrass to use his set special, and then Maul can get 5 bonus turns using his Seething Rage. We're using Silvo and Vayne over here because we need to win 10 battles with Vayne and Silvo surviving. Speaking of, you could also use JML with GMY using Watt once again. Forcing the tank tech on GML will make him constantly taunt, basically. We're using GMY because we need to get potency down 50 times. Speaking of potency down 50 times, if you happen to have Queen Amidala, with the Padawan Obi-Wan Omicron, he is basically going to be applying that all the time whenever you're using your specials. Now I know I've thrown in Vayne and Silvo here, but that's just because we need to get those 10 wins. Once you've got the 10 wins, feel free to drop it out. I do recommend Padawan Obi-Wan's Omicron. Finally, we've got defeat 35 enemies with Han Solo. So again, I'm going ahead and I'm using myself JML with Watt over here to place that tank tech, and then I'm just getting some extra Jedi to use inherited teachings on basically any version of Han. Call him to assist, get the kills with him, and it will work that way. Failing that, you can just use a full CLS team. Sector 2 then, ladies and gentlemen. Starting off, we need 10 battles with no tanks. Just a straight up CLS team will get that done, and then we need buff immunity 40 times. Now we can get buff immunity through CLS himself as well, or you could use JMK. I'm throwing in a JMK here, making sure that we do not have a tank like GK or Mace, swapping it out, throwing in Jedi Knight Anakin as well as Echo. Echo is able to do an AoE daze to the whole team, and you can actually reset the cooldowns on this ability with JMK's second special. Also, Anakin can apply buff immunity on his basic, I believe, so I just threw him in here to just double dip on some feats. Truly though, if you want to get the days, you do want to be using an AdRad team against any sort of TM generating Empire team. In particular, this works very well against Imperial Troopers, but if there's a Palpatine lead or even a Thrawn leadership, you will actively apply or passively apply days whenever they gain turn meter. Failing that, we can use a Lord Vader team with an Empire lineup over here. He's got an AoE daze on his second special, Piet's got an AoE daze on his second special, Gideon's got an AoE daze once he's got all of those stacks of, can't remember what it's called, and then finally I'm using TIE Fighter Pilot over here because his second special is an AoE buff immunity. We also need to win 10 battles with Omega and Bactra in the team. Note this is Omega Fugitive you need to win this with. So obviously we were talking earlier about that Maul team, Maul, Candrass, Watt. Throw in any of the units and you'll get the wins. I'm just giving some other options here with Bam, Han, and Chewie. Failing that, if you've got decent investment in your Bad Batch, New Batch in particular, just use New Bad Batch, drop out Wrecker so you're not using a tank, and throw in someone like Omega. You can also get daze and ability block through Hunter Fugitive. Finally, buff immunity 40 times. A CLS team, if you drop out either C-3PO or Chewie, go up against a droideka that's in damage immunity using Rolo. She will apply buff immunity on her basic. You'll get it done in one battle. Or you could use a Newt Gunray team with B2. B2 can essentially take bonus turns all the time when you take damage, and he's got an AoE buff immunity. Very, very useful. I'm using Watt and GBA here. That way we've got a source of tank without actually taking a tank into the battle, and we've got some level of survivability there. Sector 3 coming in next, then we need to get Tenacity up 60 times. Sia Junda, on her basic, will apply Tenacity up to her whole allied team of unaligned Force users. Unfortunately, this team does use some attackers, so we're not double dipping on feats here. We can also get tenacity up with a Jedi Knight Revan team. His leadership passes it to all Jedi. GMY can pass that once again with his second special, which also applies tenacity up in itself. I'm using Shakti here because if she uses her first special on a target that is a support, like GMY, she will apply tenacity up on them. So many sources here of tenacity up. We need to win 10 battles with Smee, so I'm just going to use my default teams of JML using GMY for extra tenacity up, Wat Tambor to force the taunt onto JML, then I'm just going to be using anything that can apply Smee. So I'm just using Smee and Shakti in this case. Forgot to add the extra tenacity up logo to her there. You can also use the tried and trusted Maul team for Smee. 10 battles with no attackers. I really like to use Night Sisters. Night Sisters, almost all are support types. So Great Mothers over here with Morgan Elsbeth, who can apply tenacity up to all her Night Sister allies, is a good way of getting this done. Failing that, JML once again, no attackers in this team using Forlom as Zuckuss because we need to win 10 battles with Forlom and Zuckuss. So this will give us our tenacity up, it will also give us no attackers, it'll also give us 10 battles with Forlom and Zuckuss. And of course you can use that Maul team. Coming up now to Sector 4 then, ladies and gentlemen. Sector 4, we need to win 10 battles with a full squad of pirates. Obviously, not everybody's going to have Pirate King Hondo. I'm using a Mars team over here. Mars, Ithano, Hondo, Kix, and Nest. I'm trying to spread these teams across, and I'm also trying to make sure that we don't take any tanks in these comps, because we need to win 10 battles with no tanks. You can see that in the bottom left corner. Evasion up 60 times. Just a standard CLS team. Hand's second special over there will pass evasion up to the entire team. You'll be able to get this done in no time. Failing that, using a Queen Amidala team, and just throw in Keller and Beck for this. We need to get, for the global feats, 20 wins with Keller and Beck. Padawan Obi-Wan with his Omicron will apply this lovely evasion up to the whole team whenever you use specials, provided he has more than 50% stamina. I've got a couple of teams down the bottom left that are just double dipping on the teams of the rest of the feats, but we also need to win 10 battles with Crosshair, so standard procedures over here. We've got that Maul team, you can use JML, or you can go ahead and use a full Bad Batch team, provided you have got some decent investment in your Bad Batch. Once again, don't take in record because we cannot use tanks. Sector 5 then, we need to get 35 kills with Gungans. It goes without saying that Gungans are the way to get this done. If you don't happen to have your Gungans, you can also throw them into a JML team. I recommend using Phalanx as your bonus unit here, not because he's any good, but just because he can apply defense down on a basic, and we need that defense down for this sector. 60 of them in total. The good thing about this is Boss Nass does an AoE tenacity down, I believe on his, not tenacity down, sorry, defense down on his second special. So we are double dipping feats here all the time. Defense down, you could also get it with an Afra lineup using IG-88. IG-88's second special applies defense down to the whole enemy team. But we also need to get kills with droids, so we're double dipping teams here once again. Afra team using a lot of droids gets us defense down and droid kills, a good way of getting it done. Failing that, you can use JML, standard comp over here, because we're not using a full Jedi team, you'll want to have Wat Tambor to place the tank tech on JML. Use L3 as your bonus droid over here. You can call her to assist for the kills, but also on her basic she applies defense down, so a very useful way of getting it done. Finally, we need to get 60 instances of crit damage up, and fortunately our wonderful boy Mr. Boss Nass himself is able to do this, so this is going to double dip with our Gungan kills. If you don't have Boss Nass though, don't worry, we've got a CLS team that can apply defense down on CLS's basic, I want to say, and you can get crit damage up from Han Solo's second special, so a really useful way of double dipping there. And finally, the global feats then, ladies and gentlemen. We need to get 80 instances of evasion down. Chupio can do this on a basic. So if you've got a Droideka node, let him get into damage immunity, full CLS team, auto basic on that Droideka, he'll never take a turn, and you'll get all of your evasion downs. You need 20 wins with Keller and Beck. I recommend using a Queen Amidala team here, slowly getting it over time. We also need 80 accuracy up, so we can double dip this with our Queen Amidala team, because the Omicron on Padawan Obi-Wan will apply that rather wonderful accuracy up. 20 wins with full bounty hunters. Just use the bounty hunters that you've got. Recommend using a Jabba team if you happen to have him, but if you do not, you can use a Bosk team and use Zam Wessel in there, and will actually help us get that evasion down as well. Santi can do it too. 100 stacks of profit. If you have low gears of investment within your pirates, I recommend using a Silvo lead with Brutus. those two combined will start off with at least 5 stacks of profit. Just fill out the rest with everything that you possibly can. If you have to bang your head against the wall here in like a Sector 1 bonus node or something like that, then get it done. Failing that, you can just use your Pirate King Hondo and you'll get it done in about a battle. Not too shabby at all. Now, I don't know what the data discs are for this recent set, but I feel like the feats overall are really not so bad, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully, this guide was useful to you. If you want to have these infographics, they will be up in my Discord. Join that from the description link down below. Everybody ready to get Satele Shan? I hope so. Boom, boom, firepower. Let's get it, baby. Hope this video was useful to you. If it was, please leave me a like, ladies and gentlemen, and I'll see you all in the very next video. Peace out, and may the Force be with you.